this is Molly. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Purpose, where we talk about just that. What's our purpose to be here on this earth? Why were we even born? Well, if you've been following along with me, you know what I think. I think we only have two reasons to be on this planet, and that's it. Number one, love God, try to get to know Him more and more each day, try to love Him more and more each day. And number two, love each other. Hardest things in the world to do. It's hard to love God when you can't see Him and talk to Him. And it's hard to love each other, especially if you don't necessarily like everybody and you don't agree with everybody. So this is hard stuff, and God knew it was going to be hard. So He gave us the Bible to help us. He gave us directions. He gave us stories about how people in the past were trying to do the exact same thing we're trying to do. Get to know God better, love Him more, love each other more, so that at the end of our days, we get to hang out with Him forever in heaven. So that's what we're doing. We're going along reading these stories. And we left off with Abram and Sarai. And last time we talked about Abram, he was on fire for God, boy. He was making a pact with God, and they sacrificed animals, and God promised him, I am going to give you lots of descendants. Because Abram and Sarai didn't have any kids, and they'd been praying for kids for dozens of years, a long time, and they hadn't gotten any yet. And God made a pact with Abram, I'm going to give you kids, just trust me. And remember, He took him outside and said, count all those stars if you can see them. That's how many kids or descendants you're going to have. And Abram couldn't see the stars because it was daytime. But he had faith that they were there, even if he couldn't see them. He trusted, just like these stars are there. I just can't see them, but I trust that they're up there. And God's saying we just have to have faith in Him, even if we can't see Him. Even if it feels like we're all alone and nobody cares, we have to have faith and keep trusting Him that He's going to help us. We may not get everything we want, but He's going to be there for us, and He's going to do what's best for us. We just have to believe that. Kind of like with parents and kids. You know, kids don't always get everything they want, but hopefully their parents are doing what's best for them. And sometimes they don't give them things because they know that's not what's best. So, Abram was just close to God, boy, and he was on fire for God, and he was thinking, all right, I trust you, God. I've got faith in you. And the very next chapter, Genesis 16, Abram's wife Sarai, she's losing faith. She's losing trust. She's had enough of this. She's waited long enough. She doesn't trust God's going to give her a baby, so she's going to have a plan B. Because kids were really important back in those days. I mean, they're important now, but back then there were no savings accounts, there were no retirement funds, there were no nursing homes. When you got old, it was your kids that took care of you. And when a man died, all of his inheritance went to his sons. And his oldest son got half of everything, and he had to take care of the mom, the man's wife. So kids were super important. And Abram and Sarai really wanted one. And Sarai's making a plan B. Just in case this God thing doesn't work out, I'm going to have a plan B to take care of me. So she had a maid named Hagar, an Egyptian maid. I don't know if you remember a few videos ago when Abram and Sarai went to Egypt because of a famine. And Sarai got taken into Pharaoh's house because Abram lied and said she was his sister. And Pharaoh gave Abram all kinds of stuff, sheep and goats and cattle and money, and he gave him slaves, maids, manservants and maidservants, it said. So Hagar was one of those servants that came to Abram when he went to Egypt. Well, Sarai decided, all right, Abram, you're going to be with Hagar and have a baby with her, and that's going to be our child. And so Abram, instead of saying, no, we got to trust God on this, Sarai. We've got to have faith. He promised me we'd have kids. We've just got to hold tough and have faith. Just like Adam and Eve. When Eve brought Adam that apple, Adam said, okay, and ate it, and then said, hey, it's all your fault, Eve. Same thing's going to happen here. Abram was with Hagar, and he got her pregnant. And as soon as Hagar found out she was pregnant, she was ticked off. I don't know if she was ticked off, actually. It said that she was treating Sarai badly. Maybe she was ticked off that she was pregnant. Maybe she was thinking, ha ha, I got pregnant with Abram's baby and you couldn't. I don't know what it was, but she wasn't being nice to Sarai. And an upset maid or a surly maid is not a good thing to have in your household. So Sarai went to Hagar and said, this is all your fault. You did this, hey, Abram. And Abram was like, what the heck? You told me to. Look, she's your maid. You do whatever you want to with her. So now Sarai is being mean to Hagar and treating her bad. And Hagar's just had enough of this, so she ran away. Well, an angel of God found Hagar, and he told her, you're going to be all right. God's going to take care of you. Now remember, she's Egyptian. She doesn't believe in the one true God. But she's heard a lot about him from Abram and Sarai. So she knows about him. And she saw an angel of God. And he told her, you're going to be okay, Hagar. Your son's going to be all right. In fact, he's going to lead a lot of people someday. You're going to have a boy, and you're going to name him Ishmael. But you got to go back to Abram and Sarai. And so she did. She went back, and sure enough, she had a son, and she named him Ishmael. And Abram was 88 years old when Ishmael was born. So he's not a spring chicken, but, you know, they lived to be 300-400 years back then. So, oh boy, what can we learn from this? Lots of layers in this story. So, I think one of the things we can take away from this is trust God, have faith in him. Have faith that if we do the right thing, if we love God and we love each other, we're going to be all right, even if we don't get what we want. We may not get what we want because it may not be what's the best thing for us. And just like with a kid with a parent. And also, God's timetable is not my timetable, and I wish it was. I wish when I prayed, boom, it was like a genie with a lamp, and I get what I want. But God's not Santa Claus, you know. He doesn't just give you everything you want whenever you want it. His timetable is very different. There's stuff I've prayed about for over 30 years. 30 years I've been praying for this stuff, and I still don't have it. And maybe I'm never going to get it. And maybe I need to change my prayer, and instead of saying, I want this, God, saying, I trust you're going to give me what I need. Just put your peace and wisdom in my heart. Maybe that should be my prayer. Instead of asking for stuff, I should ask for God's peace and wisdom. I'd probably be happier if I would do that. And then, can you hear my mule? I don't know if you can hear her. She's saying, I'm hungry. But another layer to this is that we make plan Bs. We think God's not going to take care of me. I need to watch out for myself because, you know, bad stuff happens to good people all the time. I got to watch out for me. And we do that when, let me think of something. Maybe you're selling a car, and that car's not in the best shape in the world, but you hide it, and you don't tell the person buying it that, you know, the transmission's on its last leg, or it's been in a wreck, or whatever. You hide all that from them, and you get top dollar for it. That's not trusting God. You need to be honest with people. Or maybe you're in business and you're thinking, well, I can't just be nice and give everybody the best deals. I'll never get ahead. I'll never make any money. Got to trust God. Or maybe it's a case of people aren't being nice to you, or you don't agree with them. And you don't want to be nice to them. You know, you can't just smile and let things go when people are mean to you. They'll walk all over you. They'll treat you like a doormat. It's the hardest thing in the world to do, and I fail at this every day. But I think we need to try our best to pray in these situations and ask God to lead us. That's where Abram and Sarai went wrong. It wasn't that they were losing faith. It's that they didn't stop and pray. When Sarai went to Abram and said, hey, plan B, you're going to go hook up with old Hagar there. Abram should have said, oh, Sarai, honey, no, we've got to trust God. Got to trust him. That's what spouses do. They help each other get closer to God. And when they see one of them's fallen, they give them a hand and pull them up. We can't let each other make plan Bs because we don't trust God. Is any of this making sense? Because it's tough stuff. This is hard, real life stuff. And it's a whole lot easier to want to take care of number one. It's a whole lot easier to say, I'm going to get you before you get me. But in the long run, it's so much harder to do that. And we're just hurting ourselves because we're moving further away from God. And I don't want to move further away from God. I want to get closer to him. So I'm going to try my best today to trust God, even when it's scary. Even with the things that I want so bad that he may never give me. I need to trust him that I'm going to be okay with that. Even if I don't get him, I'll be all right. And that he'll make the best of whatever it is I get. You know, he'll lead me to him. I hope that made sense. It did in my head, but, you know, it doesn't seem to be coming out right. Well, I just hope you have the best day today. And when we come back, we're going to find out a little bit more about Ishmael. Bye-bye, everyone.